I started getting to like, the whole mindset of, you got to believe, you got to attract it, you got to be around it. And I just started to dream big.
Jimmy Esparza.
Yes, sir.
How long are you in town?
Till tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you just get in today?
Just right now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the Hopeaholics
Yeah.
Podcast.
Amazing.
No, thank you guys. Thanks for the invite.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
And he's always kind of dressed up like this, even when he's dressed down. You know how there were kids like that in school?
I got a text that he drove up in a pretty cool car. Is that true?
He drives super cool cars.
Nice.
He's young and he likes things like that.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out on the way out.
For sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
Awesome.
But do you remember that in school though? There would be like kids that like, even though their clothes were kind of normal, they always were at least pressed, and their hair had like Brill cream in it.
My mom still presses all my dad's clothes.
Yeah.
That was like most of my friends.
His jeans have creases in them. Yep.
Yeah, you got to do
real?
it.
Oh yeah, my parents are very interesting in the sense of they are your typical like traditional old school. I mean, I have a Mexican mother, so you can only imagine. My dad's never packed a suitcase in his life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And she cooked all the time.
Home cooked meal every night.
I honestly do not think I can count on my hand how many times my dad has not had a home cooked meal. And if he had to have a meal not cooked by my mom, it was because for whatever reason she was out of town at like a soccer tournament of mine. And we laugh at him because we're like, oh, Dad's going to have canned tamales.
Yes. Now, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So as a young girl, did you see that and say, I want to do that or I don't want to do that?
You know what? I don't know. I honestly, as I've gotten older, obviously I admire that tradition. My husband makes a joke because he's like, wait, what happened to you? So he definitely doesn't get the perks of that. But no, I definitely didn't have like a negative or a positive by seeing that growing up. It was more along the lines of seeing their loyalty through all the nonsense that my brothers caused them that I feel would break up any marriage. But their loyalty has stayed true for the test of time.
So you guys, this is my friend Jimmy Esparza, and to him, I'm literally like his uncle.
Uncle Tim right here.
And
How did you guys meet?
In Switzerland.
we met in Switzerland.
Whoa.
I was speaking at an event in Switzerland,
Yeah.
and he was there, and there's a lot of guys that do well in life, but he just stood out, man. He just stood out. And I gravitated to him, and we hung out for like a whole week, traveling through Switzerland with all these people.
Yeah, Switzerland, and then we're in Italy, Milan too, for like 2-3 days. Yeah, so it was a good time.
But tell him about how I took you to Fashion Week
Oh yeah, that was
in Milan.
it was so crazy because I always wanted it to be at this fashion show, and Tim and I spent a couple of days together. I was helping him whatever I could, and we just connected pretty well. And then when was it, like the third day, I think he comes up, he's like, hey Jimmy, it's like, it's Fashion Week, right? Because we were talking about it the day before. It's like, yeah, it's Fashion Week. It's like, hey, you know this guy? And he just passed me over the phone. I was like, yeah, I know this guy. Like I don't know him personally, but I love his brand. Actually, I actually have a backpack. This is from this guy. Okay, well, we're going. Do you want to go? Let's go. I was like, absolutely, 100%. Let's do it. And that was really exciting. And then we drove. We got an Uber from there. Went to eat some really good pizza, and we had a really good time. And that there was a Philip plane runway.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
super cool.
And
it's a really good time.
He was in the front row.
Yeah, no, we got VIP treatment. Like we went in the front. We didn't even make line. We went in, and then after the show, we were right in the front of the runway, and then there was like a gathering, like a VIP gathering, right next to the gallery, and we just went straight in with Tim. It was really cool.
But you know what? I think we all, can't you spot somebody that just has it in a different way? Tell me about that.
Can I spot somebody?
You know what I'm saying? You just
That stands out in the crowd.
that stands out where even if they're not doing their potential, but you know they got something.
They have potential.
Tell us about that.
Well, when Natalie walked in the room,
Yes.
I knew
said
she had potential.
at
to
least
be
potential.
Yeah, she had at least had some potential.
Ooh, is that Shane? Can you believe that? I just got a compliment.
Your mic,
It was done before you walked in.
I know.
your-
That was
your mic's not working, Shane.
Oh, Shane.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. But thank you for that compliment.
Yeah. Also knew when and this is a weird story, and I'm just going to tell the quick version. But the first time I met Shane, I knew he had potential as well.
Yes.
The only problem is that when I met him, before I had actually said hi to him or anything, he was naked. And
Wow.
I know it's a really weird story. We were in a men's locker room.
Only on the Hopeaholics.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
Yeah.
In a men's locker room, and Shane didn't realize that in America, because he's from Canada.
Oh, okay.
That when we go into the jacuzzi in the men's locker room, we put board shorts on.
Yeah.
So he just went in
Naked.
Just naked.
Naked.
Yeah, and that was the first time I had ever met him or seen him.
And you said he has
I said he had potential.
at that point in your friendship. And now they're helping the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hopeaholics are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One of a kind.
I see people like sometimes like you go into a group with the clients.
Yes.
And you see somebody that stands out, or
Yeah.
it's usually for me though, it's like I have to be talking to them for a bit, and I'm like, whoa, that person, or for instance, an interview with somebody, a potential staff member. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have one in particular. When I interviewed her, I said she's going to be the clinical director of Hope by the Sea someday.
I like how you say that because, Natalie, I think you can't always judge a book by its cover. I've met some people that look like so normal, but they were not. And once you started to dialogue with them, you knew there was something different.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Can you recognize potential?
I think so. Yeah, there's something about certain individuals that they have a certain little spark or something just stands out. You know, that's why it is special when you get to encounter, especially I feel like being here too, like going into groups, meeting the patients and clients and stuff. There's certain individuals that just stand out a little bit more. And it could be just from their presence or from hearing them actually engage in conversation. So I think everybody can kind of point out something in an individual.
So, Jimmy Esparza, let's talk to you a little bit about your background. What part of Mexico were you raised in?
I was raised in Tijuana, Mexico, which is a border town to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were raised there, were you coming across the border a lot into San Diego area?
Yeah, I went to school till the third grade, and then after the third grade, my mom and dad decided to take us to the United States so we can learn English. And then we used to cross every single day. Like we used to wake up at 3 in the morning, we wake up, throws in the van, and then we cross the border 2-3 hours, and then get to the school, and then they would drop us off and brush our teeth in the van, and there we go. And then
So you got to hear this story, you guys.
Wow.
Because I know it from being around him.
yeah,
But think about this for a second. That Monday through Friday, you woke up at what time to then get in the car?
Yeah.
And then how long did it usually take to get across the border? Say that again.
yeah, it will take us 2 to 3 hours every single day. We'll wake up at 3 in the morning, and we will somewhat change, and my mom would throw us in the van, and then we'd just start making line. Yeah, and that was like every day, Monday to Friday. And she was really consistent. My respect to my mom, honestly. Like she would not miss a day. She was like, nope, if you're sick, no, you're not. Get your butt in the car. Yeah. So, yeah, I think she was really consistent on that, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, that was we did that for years. We did that for probably till I was like in middle school. So yeah, it was,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It is.
Big thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with Tijuana because I'm at that age group where it was a cool place to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I
For
was
sure.
16.
Yeah.
Because
What
you
was-
didn't
what was-
need an ID. You
Right.
just go
Yeah,
to the club.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember the
100%.
hot spot? There were some hot
There
spots.
was, yeah. I can't remember what it was called though. There was a few nightclubs that
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
Like
go.
senior frogs or something.
Well,
Yeah.
See, was that in Tijuana?
Yeah.
There was a lot in Rosarito.
Oh, Rosarito
Yeah.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Got fucked up all the
Me
time.
too.
Like,
Absolutely.
I had some.
But
good
for
times
me,
in
it was like
Rosarito.
it started
Yeah.
at 16 because we would cross as soon as we got our driver's license. Like, why were my parents like wondering where I was?
Yeah.
Like, I don't let my kids. I track them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for the iPhone, right?
Right.
Tell us an interesting side of Tijuana that we would not know of, because I know of Tijuana to go in there to buy fireworks.
Yeah. I mean, you could get all type of stuff right in Tijuana, but I think it's a really cool place to eat some tacos. Like, it's actually
sure.
really famous, like known for one of the best tacos like in the whole Mexico. Food, it's amazing. But you know, there's definitely a lot of good stuff. You know, there's art. You know, there's a lot of cool things that happen in Tijuana. There's also a lot of other stuff, right? The party scene, I think that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Rosarito, Ensenada, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, talent out there too. You know, there's a lot of good stuff, you know, that comes out of Tijuana. You definitely don't want to go to the wrong spots, right? Just, you know, go with the good guide. But it's definitely a really cool city. It's one of the biggest cities in Mexico, actually. Yeah, so
Oh,
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
how big is it?
Honestly, I don't know exactly the population, but I'll say it's in the top, you know, top 5, top 3, you know, largest cities in Mexico. Yeah, yeah.
So, Jimmy, you know, one of the biggest business magazines in the world
Yeah.
voted you something. Let them know what it was.
Yeah, we got nominated 2 years ago for Forbes 30 under 30. So we were really excited
amazing.
about that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, no, thank you. We were there 2 years ago, and then we got invited again this year. And, you know, it was really cool. We got to meet the owner of Forbes as well and network with a bunch of, you know, young entrepreneurs and all type of people there. It was a really amazing experience that we got to experience for this past 2 years. Yeah, that was really.
But you notice how he says we, because he has such humility that he's kind of like putting it on his team. Like, but he's the one that got nominated. It wasn't like his whole team. But I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
For that, and I think part of it is what's so interesting about this. This is the Hopeaholics, right?
Yeah.
So where did you start to get hope from? Like, did you get a motivational book, or did you watch a movie, or you had a nice Theo who was a positive guy? Where did you start to get hope?
I think it all started with my mom, and she will, you know, we'll go to church, and it all started with God, right? Like, which is like, you know, God is your father. And it's like, I had the confidence, like, hey, I'm a son of God, you know? So if I'm, you know, I really want to do something, you know, I believe it, you know? And I think I started to get my confidence from there, and we'll go to church. And then after that, as I started to grow up, I found The Secret, the book, you know, that was my first, like,
Yeah.
the first book that I got into, and you know, I started getting to, like, you know, the whole mindset of, you know, you got to believe, you got to attract it, you got to be around it. And I just started to dream big. And I think that was one of the things that really helped me. But I think the main thing, I truly did believe that, yeah, I'm a son of God. So God owns anything, and, you know, anything that's going to do good for me, I think we could definitely get it done. And that's the main thing that I will say that has helped us through everything that we've done.
Yeah. I love that. And I think for everybody, I feel like teamwork makes the dream work, you know?
So I have a question. Can we go back a little bit to
Bring it.
to where you got started? So after school,
Yeah.
talk about business.
Yeah.
Where did you start?
I started selling in school. I started selling lollipops.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think when I was in middle school, it was I was selling lollipops, like $1 lollipops, and I was selling because we will help the chess group. I wasn't, I guess, educated enough to play chess, but it's like, hey, but this is what you can do. You can sell lollipops, and they got us into this competition.
Nice.
And that's where I started, you know, my career in sales and entrepreneurship, and then more on the formal side, I started working in I work with my mom. She used to own a small business that will clean houses, like some mansions in San Diego, and she would do all the cleaning, and started working with her. And then I did some door to door with her to, you know, pass out flyers. And then my first official job that I put my social and everything. It was in working in a call center, calling to sell internet. You know, when internet was not such a big thing. Yeah, so that's where, you know, my sales and entrepreneurship career started. Yep. So
Very cool.
And then is that what led you into the solar?
So what led me into the solar? I used to work for this other call center inside of a prison. I used to work for it was another call center that when I got promoted, because I was just making calls to an assistant manager. They had a call center inside of a prison. There was 100 inmates. It's like, okay, you got a promotion. You're going to the prison. I was like, okay. I was like, wow, that's going to get me off the phones for like every day. It's like, yep. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'll go to the prison. And then there I was assisting and I was helping inmates like close deals. They used to sell products where they help, not to the day. I think they still help construction companies do their trainings themselves. That way they don't have to hire a training. Some of them don't have the income to hire somebody to do the whole training. So, you know, they'll send them the do-it-yourself kits. And I think it was a cool job. It was intense. You know, there was a kind of crazy environment. I almost, you know, got in a fight a couple times with the inmates, not because I wanted to, but they had some big ego. And they're like, I was like 20 years old. And they'll come at me like, you're 20 years old and telling me what to do, you know? So I was like, you know, I had to have some hard conversations like, hey, man, I don't want no beef, but I'm not going to back down, you know? But, and I kind of learned a little bit, you know, I got some really good skills from there. So long story short, they laid me off from there and I was looking for a job. And then a guy came in and started he knocked the door at the moment I was living with my parents. And then he was selling us solar. And I was like, nah, this guy's going to scam my mom. And like, what is solar? Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't have to pay anything. That sounds like a scam. And then he tried, no, look, man, like it works. Like, let me show it to you. And then he actually showed me the presentation. I was like, man, this sounds too good to be true. And then he said, you know, and I think I could even get you a job too. I was like, really? I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to door knock. I was like, why am I going to do that? You know, like I have a fancy office. I go to now it's not a fancy office, but I will go wear a tie and shoes.
Yeah.
Go to the office. And it's like, I'm going to be wearing shorts and a hat and knocking doors. You know, I thought it was not the sexiest and most attractive job. But it's like, hey, man, you make good money. It's like, what is good money? He's like, oh, well, I made, you know, 70 grand in 3 months. I was like, oh, really? I was like, well, where do I sign up? You know, and that's how, you know, that's how it started. You know, I learned a little bit about the product. And then, you know, this guy gave me an opportunity with Solar City, which is now Tesla. And that's where I started my career in solar sales.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Solar City. So Tesla bought Solar City?
Tesla bought Solar City, I believe, for like $3 billion or something.
Wow.
It was it was a good move.
Yeah.
So I think you know this, Chad. Solar's huge right now.
Nah.
So tell them and all the people watching, listening, how solar is just taking off.
Yeah, it's a fast growing industry for sure because people are used to buying electricity like the traditional way, right? Which is like you buy a house or you rent a house. It's like this is who you have to go with, right? Like you have really no option. But now there's this new way of creating electricity where you could have your own power plant. Now you have a choice and say, hey, no, I'm gonna pick solar and I'm gonna, you know, save more money, help out the environment, and I could have my own power plant. So I have the option to have ownership of power and eventually not have to pay and rent for the rest of my life. So it's a pretty big game changer that, you know, a lot of people are making the decision towards going to solar, and that's why I loved it too. You know, I was like, cool. I think this is something new, something that, you know, is sustainable and something that's here to stay. So yeah, it's been growing pretty fast. The government is pushing it. A lot of incentives, you know, for people, homeowners, business, and you know.
Still incentives going good in California.
Yeah.
Can you like turn my headphones or my mic? I can barely hear myself. I'm not sure. Hello.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2. Okay. Now I see.
Shane, did they get your mic working?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
I like Jimmy.
When you look at Jimmy,
Yeah, beautiful man. He seems a little shy.
yeah,
Humble. I don't want to call it shy. I want to call it very humble.
Thank you.
A very kind, loving character.
and that is what
Yeah,
is
and it allows people to come in.
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because when I was with this group that I was with, it's a lot of guys that do well,
Yeah,
and he does well, but he was being this humble, and he would come to me and say, "Do you want me to carry your bag? Do you want me to help you?" What do you want me to do?
Well,
you
and
need help?
that reflects on his culture. That's his mother
Yeah.
and father. That's his upbringing. That's the family concept that
Yes.
Mexican families have. That's a
The
beautiful thing.
work ethic
It's a
is
beautiful
like
thing. Yeah.
nobody's business.
We don't have that here.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
We need to really work on that, like being better people.
We have it as a collective.
I know. I just mean we as a collective country need to do a
Yeah.
better
Oh,
job.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. With
Because we're not that nice.
There's a
We
lot
are,
of people
but we're
that
not.
are not that nice. I agree. All right, Jimmy, let's go into your story. When you started to find success and money started to come to you, what was that feeling like to get a little bit into surplus?
Yeah, it was nice, right? It's like, okay, now I have options. And, you know, it was like, now I have options, now I can do more things. But it was a responsibility too. I think it was, you know, I just don't want this for myself, right? I want, you know, for other people that come from a similar background that I come from to get to experience this because, you know, it's life-changing, right? And there's more options, you know, you can do a lot more things, you know, you could help more people. But it was nice. Honestly, you know, I got to, you know, buy some, you know, dumb stuff, buy some good stuff, invest in myself, invest in my family, right? And but to me, it was really nice, and I honestly I loved it. I got to, you know, experience it, and you know, we're still right. We're not where we want to be at, but I think we, you know, it was a good experience overall. Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting thing though, because we've all faced that of being tight. When you get a little extra, it's not a bad feeling.
I like what you just said about that I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm never where I want to be.
Yeah.
Which is a sign of somebody who is going to continue to achieve great things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally agree.
I listen to like I feel like no, it's not. It's the guy that follows you, the motivational speaker guy that you know says it all the time. I was gonna quote Ed Malay, but it's not Ed.
Yeah.
It's somebody else. But he just talks about the 80% of the time we feel like we're losing or we
Yeah.
feel like we're failing,
Mm-hmm.
and we only get to win like 2% of the time. But that 2% of the wins is what keeps us driving forward.
So I think personally that what happens is that even when you do well, life puts a demand on you. There's something, if you listen, that says there's more to life than what I'm living. So no matter where you're at, I think that, you know, you see he loves Kobe Bryant. You see Kobe's jerseys up there. That whole Mamba mentality was, I mean, he was already at that level, but he knew there was more.
Yeah. He said he chased perfection even though he was never going to achieve it.
Tom Brady says the same thing. And he never wanted to be the greatest player of all time. Tom Brady said that. But he was chasing for him to be the best that he could possibly be. But I think that's also important. Any successful person, I feel like, that I've met or came across, they're always striving for something more. Because if you get comfortable being where you're at, that's usually when things start to dwindle.
Yeah.
And then you either end up losing what you have, or you don't have that hunger anymore. So I think it's important to always chase.
Stay hungry, my friends.
Stay hungry,
Never
my
s-
friends.
I like that.
Never satisfied.
So I think we could all answer this.
Yeah.
George Lopez has this amazing bit. I love watching George Lopez. I've seen him 4 times in person because I like his cadence, his style of speaking. But when he talks about being a Mexican man from East LA, that when he broke out, his family tried to pull him back.
Yeah.
Okay? So did you have any of that where you started to break out and live in better places, maybe get better jobs, better cars, and not everybody was happy? And then how did you respond to that? And I think that'd be good for the whole table because I think all of us have faced it in one way or another.
No, 100%, you know, because we're not used to, you know, the success, right? And especially from, you know, where I come from, So a lot of my surroundings, even people that work with me, you know, it's like they looked at me and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, this is it, right? Like, this is it. And to me, it's like, no, this is not it, you know, because, you know, I feel like we have the responsibility, because somebody helped me, you know, through those times, right? Somebody gave me an opportunity. Somebody allowed me to get to the next level, to improve my life. So I think we're all responsible to continue to do that, right? We can't be selfish and say, oh, I'm good, right? And I think that to some people didn't, you know, they didn't like that, right? Because like, oh, I'm good, man. Like, this is good, right? It's a good spot. Come back, you know, like come back, or, you know, because, you know, a lot of the times, you know, they might have thought it was like being arrogant or being, you know, you're not sharing time anymore and things like that. So there was definitely a lot of that. So, but to me, I was like, you know, I just try to kept it as cool as I can and focus towards, you know, my vision. And something to add to that, the reason that also I try to stay as busy as we can, you know, and talking about, you know, the addictions and things like that is like, you know, because I feel like if I don't focus on some of the good stuff, like, and have, you know, a lot of spare time, I will focus on some of the things that will get me and things that I wouldn't want to be into, right? Like alcohol, drugs, and things that, you know, potentially could get us, you know, distracted. But that's why I also, and I've seen it also from my family tree, you know, and I think we definitely want to break those barriers, and we want to continue to elevate, and I try not to listen too much to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's important, because I know, like, my immediate family, you know, my parents, my brothers, obviously, since I'm like the youngest of all boys, my brothers have no problem like talking shit to me and stuff like that. But from like my parents, obviously, like, trickle out to like cousins, aunts, uncles, and stuff. It was more of like shocked in the sense of what I was like aiming for, but my parents is like go, because ultimately my mom and that side of my family, they came over from Mexico for the American dream, for the opportunity to do whatever it is for a better life, and to have those opportunities that could possibly come up that they didn't have growing up. So it's like, it would be disrespectful for me, not only to like God, but to my parents, if I didn't push, if I didn't go, because of their struggle, their hardship that they had endured, and came over here to give myself and my brothers a life that they didn't have those types of opportunities, you know? So I feel like it is upon me to reach as far, as high as I possibly can, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the whole like cliche things that we always hear about, like dream big and go for it, it's really true.
Yeah.
Because anything is possible.
But you know, that's actually a Bible verse. So Ephesians 4:1 says, walk worthy of the calling you've received. So when it says walk worthy, it actually means step up to the spoken words over your life. Oh. So really, there's always a challenge. Do I step up, or do I listen to my old culture or haters or family members who are jealous that are trying to pull us back? We got to obey the high call. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, you do. I've had, so like my immediate family, when you talk about like my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers, they're all about it. Mm-hmm. Right. But, you know, when you get down into like my cousins, what are you too good? What are you too good now? I had one cousin, like, you know, just talk some crap.
Yeah.
And they do that just out of like, you know, jealousy or envy. And they want to try to bring you back down. I just stay focused. I stay focused on God. I stay focused on serving my purpose, which is to help other people that suffer with the same thing that I suffer with, which is really mental issues, right? It's not drug abuse or drug addiction. And as long as I do that, I just keep I keep flourishing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not, and there are times though when things get stagnant, but then it's like, I start to notice those, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I not doing that I should be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Shane, what do you think about obeying that call?
I'll tell you something. I think it's an immigrant mentality, that saving mentality. I come from it. I'm first generation born in North America, and it's coming from that feeling of what's going to happen tomorrow. Typically, they come from a third world country or a country that's failing in some kind of way financially, and they have difficulty surviving. So when you're buying, my mom said it too, why are you buying a $500,000 car? You don't need that. Buy a house, do this, do that. They get scared. You're wasting money. Don't waste money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't waste. That's their thing.
Yes.
Tell them about how I challenge you on not working too hard and not being addicted to work.
Yeah, I love that because, I love what we talked about, that being in the present, right? Because a lot of the times I'm thinking about this is going to happen, this and what I'm already creating the future, and I don't really get to enjoy the present, right? Especially now having a baby girl in my house, like it's like, hey, I got to get the break and just pause and say, hey, leave that outside, leave it outside and just pause and take the break, because this is the moments that you really want to enjoy. Even today, actually, I was talking to Julio behind the scenes, and I was like, hey, man, today I just want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the present. It's something that, I enjoy doing, and I just don't really want to be thinking too much about, then after this, I'm going to do this and this and this and that. And honestly, that gives me a lot more peace, and I really get to enjoy, a powerful moment like this, and I love that, and I love that, Tim has helped out a lot with that, so appreciate that.
I love that. I love what you just said, because something that it relates to something that all three of us did earlier this morning without even knowing it. We didn't talk to each other, but for me, I'm always manifesting what's going to happen next, right? Because that's what I believe in. I believe that I think it, I start to speak it, it starts to happen. But I also sometimes forget to leave the results up to God. Right. So this morning, I don't always get down on my knees and pray. I'm not that. I don't do it. I have a routine. I'm in a certain spot all the time. Today, for some reason, I didn't pray in my normal spot. I was up making my bed. I was like, I haven't prayed yet. I was like, I think it's a good time to drop to my knees and get and pray. And I did my normal prayer. And at the end, I was like, you know what, God? I'm giving all of this that I have, that I've been blessed with, that you've given me. I'm giving it back to you to do with as you please, because I know that your will for this stuff is way better than mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen.
100%.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Like Tim says, there's our goals and then God's goals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. There's that good idea and the God idea.
Yes, God idea. Yeah.
But it goes with the same
Yeah.
side. So Natalie, what do you think about this whole idea of the fact that I challenge him to continue to thrive, but not to be so addicted that he misses the moments?
I think for everybody that is especially an entrepreneur to a degree, probably struggles with that to a certain point or to a certain extent, because when you're an entrepreneur, there's no clock in, clock out. You're on the clock 24/7, or at least that's how I've felt. Yeah. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at all. It's more along the lines of when you do have those moments that need to be super present, just like you said, your baby girl, or being with my family, because I do travel quite a bit, and making sure that I'm showing up for them at that specific time. So just being able to recognize those moments has been a learning curve for sure, because obviously my mentality is to go, chase, get whatever that goal or accomplishment is, and then you're on to the next. And so having those little brief moments of thanking God and enjoying what the accomplishment was or what you have achieved, and then pushing forward to the next. So I feel like it's always a moving force. It's always there's never a balance. It's always a juggle, and to give yourself grace. But also, if you didn't have that hustle in you, none of us would be sitting at this table. So it's you can't say to have, people always ask me how do you balance? I don't. I really don't. Some days I'm on it where it's just all work. I'm lucky that I have a husband that's just like a dog like me, and if you don't have that dog mentality, you ain't going to survive. So I'm okay with people being addicted to work and things that they are passionate and love, because that's how you soar. And then as long as you're able to, like, you know, put that into other things that you love, relationships, family, kids, and stuff like that, they're going to see that. Your baby girl is going to see, oh, damn, my daddy's a dog. Like, he's a hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
But I show up. I show up.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, as all of you guys are talking about
Yeah.
this right now, I'm like, my son has a basketball game tonight at 6:00. It's the first game of the season tonight. It's his senior year, varsity basketball. You better believe that I'm going to be there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing will come in between that. Not any job, no
Totally.
work. I don't care if Oprah wants me to come to her house at 6:00 tonight. I am committed to my son's basketball.
I'm going to tell her you won't come.
I won't be there. I just stole that from you, Tim. I would have said somebody else, like Eminem.
But that's super
Like, if Eminem wants to come do the podcast at 6 tonight,
Nope.
I'm booked.
It's not going to happen.
But no,
I'm
that's
booked.
super important. What you're saying is because there are those little things that are important to you as an individual, myself as an individual, that's you show up.
I'm already booked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eminem, you're gonna have to wait till 8. I'll come in at 8
Right.
after my
But I
son's
really
game.
think Natalie said it like perfectly. You guys have to understand, this is what I do for a living. I life coach people.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying, that you have to be on your grind. Like when I go to speak, usually I come out to Every Day I'm Hustling by Rick Ross, because
Yeah.
I'm a hustler. I hustle.
Yeah.
But what you said, you have to pay attention to the moments.
Yeah.
See, I think most people miss the moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's easy
I
to
say
do.
this saying
Yeah.
that today is the day we prayed for yesterday. So, guys, we got to be in the moment. Beautiful things are happening right now in this moment.
Yeah.
Shane, what do you think about all this?
I'm thinking it's difficult to live the moment when you have God not in your life 100%. So if you're suffering some kind of pain, for now I'm in physical pain.
Yeah.
My connection with God's a little lessened. So I really got to bear down. And like Chad was sharing earlier, it just so happened all three of us today, together, not together, but did the same thing. I got closer to God. Chad did. So did Eva. Separately, and we shared that story today.
Love that.
Powerful.
But Jimmy, so this thing about when you were young, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see anything, observe something that you said, man, I could take my life to a really high level? Like for me, it was watching these Disney movies. So
Yeah.
we had this broke down TV with an antenna that had a hanger in it, so you can get better reception. But on Sunday nights, they had these Disney movies, and that would make my mind kind of just take off. Did you have anything as a kid that you helped you think bigger?
I think I got a lot of no's. You know, it's like, oh, can we buy this? No. Can we do it? No. And I was like, why not? You know, I was like, like, why can't we, have, a car like that? Or why can't we, why can't I have the lemonade when we go, to a field trip or something? Why can't I have a little extra money? And I got so much no's, and I was like, and to me, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I remember looking at, my mom, when she would tell me, or my dad, when we don't have money, we can't do it. It's like, I would just laugh. I was like, this guy's, what did I do? And I think that got me. And then also the fact that my parents took me to San Diego to school, I got to, hang around with friends that, their parents have nice cars. They had a nice house. For some reason,
Got to see it.
Yeah, they'll invite me to hang out. And I was like, all right, this is what I'm talking about. This is the life this is life. This is what,
Yeah.
what it's all about. And I will go back home and see and questions like, yeah, something's not right here. And I think that was big for me. I think that was, definitely helped me out. And thanks to all my friends that will invite me, and their parents too, they were super nice. And I think that was a big thing for me when I was a kid.
I think that's so important because that's your parents taking the initiative to give you culture capital.
Yeah.
And putting you in the schools to see those kids that have the nice car, the nice house, because then as a kid, that's when you start to imagine.
Yes.
And you're like, wait, what? Why? So I feel like that's super important, and that's kind of what instills a lot of, oh wow, well it can be done, like because you're seeing it.
Yeah.
And is most of your business in America?
Yes. We're 22 states. Yeah, we're headquarters in Arizona.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Like you literally are living the American dream.
thank God. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I feel like we do, and I'm grateful every day.
And it kind of ties back into me when your first question, like, and Shane answered, but like about who holds you back from gaining those things, but like sometimes culture.
Yeah.
Shane's from Canada, right? It's a socialist country, and that you're not really expected to
Right.
to achieve the type of success that we've all achieved here. It's very, very few people do that in Canada. Most people, they just live this it's like a kind of a lower middle class lifestyle.
Yeah.
No,
that's the truth.
and most of your help is from the government, from the taxes, right?
Yeah.
So like even in Shane's case, and then on top of that, his family came from a third world country to Canada.
Yes.
So for him to come to America and start living the American dream, Shane was like, I don't want the Canadian dream.
Right.
I want the American dream. I see the Hummers.
Yeah.
Like Shane's older, so you guys, the old hip hop artists
my
were
God,
driving
yeah,
the
those
Hummers
were-
with
Hummers.
the.
Yes.
That was Shane when he got to America. He got a Hummer on 26s.
That's hilarious.
Huh?
Oh my God.
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics. Yep. But then let me tell you what happened to Shane. He started smoking crack, and he sold that $150,000 Hummer for $5,000 worth of crack.
Whoa. I don't know that story.
You don't know that? Do you want to elaborate on that story?
That was
real
it,
quick?
baby.
That was it.
That was a pretty quick deal. 30 seconds.
How'd you get the Hummer back?
I never did get it back. When did we get it back?
Come on.
It's gone.
But see,
Never got it back.
that piggybacks on what you were saying, is that like you are lucky in the sense of being essentially like addicted to work and striving, where if you don't have that, then that is going to go towards bad behavior or bad things like drugs and alcohol. And then immediately, like Shane selling $150,000 Hummer that was once the dream for $5,000.
He got it back. Not the actual Hummer. He didn't get the Hummer back, but
Oh, yeah, I got it all
he
back.
got off of drugs and
Oh, yeah.
got it all back.
But Natalie, that's a good one. So are you telling me that an addict has to be addicted to something?
I feel, at least in my case, I have addictive personality, so
Well, let's even call it addicted to a routine, Eva.
yeah, I do.
Right?
I'm
So you have a routine. It's not in a bad way. It's in a
do.
great way. It's a routine
Yeah.
she has. It's not an addiction that she's just focusing completely on working out or focusing on. She has
Yeah.
a balanced routine.
And when I fall out of that kind of routine,
Yeah.
I start to feel a little, you
Yeah.
know.
I like that, what he just said about the routine,
Yeah.
because I think all three of you guys are really set to these regimens, these routines.
Which, and I don't think that everybody has to have a routine, especially like an insane one like mine. And I joke when I say that millionaires get up at 4 a.m. That's why I get up at 3.
Yeah.
Because I want to be an hour ahead of a millionaire because I'm looking
You're going
to
for
be,
that B, baby.
Yeah,
Going for that
I'd rather
B.
be a billionaire.
That's
than
right.
a million. Sure, there's many billionaires that wake up at 10 a.m. But it's not what I'm looking for, because the reason why, the real reason why I wake up at 3 a.m. is I want to spend that time, the first hour of my life with God.
Yeah.
Then I got to get ready. Then I go to the gym.
100%.
And I don't want to be a billionaire that is out of shape and unhealthy, because my health actually becomes before my wealth. I would rather
Health
be
is
healthy
wealth. Yes.
than wealthy.
Yes. Yes.
So my health comes first. Then I put and so I do all of this health stuff before normal people wake up. Then when normal people wake up, it's time for me to start doing my business. And that's what I do. And I thought I like the fact that your mom instilled in you guys that she woke you up at 3 a.m. to drive you guys across the border. That is where you got your work ethic from.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's where I got it from. Because, people usually will be like 8-hour day and be like, oh, that's it. That sounds like, what do you mean we're done? We got to keep on going.
Like, I don't even see as a retired crystal meth addict. You guys thought it was going to say CIA agent, didn't you?
That was super funny.
As a retired crystal meth addict, I got clean and sober because at speed you're up all the time. Like I would stay up for days and days, so I was working all the time, hustling, trying to get my next fix. I got clean and sober, and they were like, "Go get a job," and I went and got a job, and I was like, "This is too easy."
Yeah.
40 hours a week was too easy for me.
Yeah.
So, all of this all ties in though is to this this quote from this story that Tim Grover talks about. His daughter came to him. He was going off again to maybe train Kobe or somebody, and his little girl was like 6 years old, and she came up, "Dad, do you have to leave?" And he was like, "Yes, I have to go." And he was like, "This is how I put food on the table." And his little girl said to him, "Well, what if I eat less?" And in his story, he says, "You would think that was that I stayed home, but I didn't, because I needed to show my daughter what it takes to be successful."
Yeah.
Sometimes, even though they don't realize it then,
Right.
they'll realize it later on in life. They'll be like my son has only seen this guy that works. And, I opened a business that never closes. It's 24/7. So that's what my son has seen his whole life.
And I think a lot of it is quality.
It's quality versus quantity.
Yeah, exactly. So I see a lot of powerful women and powerful men that I am around, and they'll have their kids around, and the kids are great at conversation. They almost like to be at the job sometimes, but it's the quality moments that I see. And not so much that they're just sitting around at home all day watching Netflix with the kid, but it's the quality time.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. 110%.
So, Jimmy, tell me about this. So this show is all about hope.
Of course. Okay.
Setbacks, comebacks. Was there a time in your life where, hope got you to where you are now, that you almost thought like, doggone it, all this is going to blow up? Because that happens a lot with first generation success.
100%. I think we had. I remember in the beginning of the business, within the first 3 years, we had an amazing year. COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and then during COVID, we had some major battles because there was we door knock, like, so the main source of generating customers was door knocking at that time, right? So we're like, well, what are we gonna do, right? So the business just paused for I will say for a week. So everything was in pause. So I was like, wow, what's gonna happen? And then during those times, like, we were even faced with personal situations. We had our first baby boy that actually passed in that year. So during those times, so those two things actually aligned. And then after that, we had even some employees from there like taking people, and it was just literally destroying the business. And in the present, it looked like, wow, what's gonna happen? Like, everything is we're gonna go back. I was recently married. I was married for like 3 years. So like, wow, what's going on? Like, am I gonna be able to to go beyond this and past this? And I remember that time where it's like, there's nothing that I could literally do, right? Like, what can I do? I think I gave it my all. I've tried my best. I gave the best attitude towards it. And I'm never going to forget this night that my wife, she was in shock too, because we were realizing everything that's going on. And it's like, she was looking at me like, what are we going to do? And I remember, and I was really confident. And this is like the best moment of hope that I ever had and I can remember. And I just looked at her and I said, you know what? I was like, God has never let us down. It's like, what makes you think God is going to let us down? And after going through quite a few days without sleeping and, being super stressed and trying to figure it out. And I remember that night when I said that, And I remember everything that we gone through, and like, he's been there. And I just looked at her, and then I was so peaceful and so calm. And I remember that night I slept like a baby, and I was all because of hope, right? I was like, God has never let us down. He's definitely not gonna let us down this time. And I think that was one of the big. And after that, thank God, the business kept on going. We have the biggest years in business. We had our baby girl. Not that we didn't go through hard times, but we definitely came out of it, a lot better than what I thought. If it was up to me, like, it would have been a disaster, right? But it was a good turnaround, and thank God for that, the comeback. But yeah, that was a really good moment of hope, for sure.
What do they say? The comeback is always. Do you say that? Are you the one that said it?
I am the one.
The comeback is always better than this. Bigger,
Yes. Bigger than
the setback.
yes.
Yes, that's
So man,
James Copperfield.
like people should get excited when the setback happens.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever it is that they get. I think it's anxiety,
Yeah,
depression,
fear. It's
fear.
yeah.
Doubt. Oh God,
that
you don't
stuff.
want those things to creep in, because if those things creep in, you can actually start to manifest those things,
Exactly.
and then the setback becomes worse.
So, question to
And
you though
longer.
on this subject that I'm asking Jimmy: do you ever get to the point where you feel like you might get demoted again? Because my point is, it's like the Boston Marathon. There's over 30,000 people running it. So a lot of us were like just in the pack, right? And then now, by the grace of God and hard work, we've been able to break out. But do you ever get these thoughts that this crap's all going to be taken away?
All the time.
What's it feel like?
Like crap, like
Yeah.
scary. I just do what he was talking about when that stuff creeps in, because I do have slow times, and when that stuff creeps in, I remind myself that I have 20 years of evidence that God has never failed.
Wow. See, that's good right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you have 1 month of evidence, that's enough.
100%.
But when I have 20 years of it, but I will tell you, the bigger you get, the scarier it is, because the harder you fall.
Right.
Yep.
At least in your mind, that's
Sure.
what you think. But then I remind myself when those thoughts creep in, is that, like, that's why I got on my knees and prayed today.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not in. When I'm thinking that crap, I am not enjoying the journey. I'm looking at the destination, and I don't even know what the fuck that destination is. I really, truly don't know what the destination is.
Yeah.
Only God knows.
Natalie,
what that is.
what goes through your mind on this conversation, this part of the conversation?
I completely agree with what everyone has said, and not only that, but it's one of those things where God has brought me this far. He's not going to drop me. He's not going to just take it away. So as long as I'm doing what I need to be doing, which is, I always refer it to program. My sobriety is my number one priority, because I know if I'm not sober, then everything will fall, because that's just how I roll. And if I'm doing all of those, my prayers, my meditation, showing up to meetings, checking in with my sponsor, sponsoring other women, then those dots, T's, everything is crossed.
Wow.
Then everything else will go as it may. And for me to stop, because my like Chad always says too, it's like our substance is just what we use to as a solution to our problems. It's like, it's my thinking. So I can all of a sudden be in so much fear that I'm running a rat race and creating certain scenarios that have not even existed. So it's like, as long as I'm checking myself, then everything will go. And not only that, but I feel like now, because I've been through so many little, like, peaks and valleys, your dark moments or your most fearful moments, they're not going to last forever. Buckle up, sit tight, do the work, and you're going to make it through.
Just keep going.
One day at a time, baby.
Just keep going. You know what we call that thinking in the program? Stinking thinking. Stinking thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in your stinking thinking? You know how we get out of our stinking thinking? which is, it's different than other people, but they I mean, it's probably a similar process, but for us, like, we actually have a plan that is given to us through the program, and that's pick up the phone, call your sponsor, tell your sponsor what you're doing, tell your sponsor what you're thinking about doing, and then your sponsor is going to say, when was the last time you went to a meeting?
Yep. When was the last time
I
you
think we
prayed?
need to, when was the last time you prayed? How about we spend the next 90 days going to meetings, praying every day, and you know what? I think that you need to start doing some step work.
Yeah.
Yes.
That we have a prescription is what
But I
the
love
word I was trying to get.
the dialogue about supernatural solutions. So
It's better than a pill.
Yeah.
We're not trying to solve it just in the natural realm, but we
No.
have supernatural solutions. Shane, what do you think about supernatural
I think
solutions?
it's all about God. Without God, we're dead. We're finished. You cannot go to that next level without a higher power. It just doesn't exist.
With oat?
Yeah.
Oat?
Without.
Okay, oat. With
Yeah.
oat.
Without.
Why does he speak that way?
I don't-
Tell us again.
Oh, Canada. Canadian.
Yes.
Oat
Yes.
means out in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Oat means oatmeal here.
Yeah.
Jimmy, tell us.
We call it porridge.
You do, don't you?
We do. We call
You don't
it,
call it
we
oatmeal.
know, we call it porridge.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you heard that. So, Jimmy, tell us in
Yeah.
Spanish for about a minute to 2 minutes
Okay.
on why it's important to rely on God in the midst of all situations.
We're going to make this into a reel, so.
I'm going to turn on my Spanish.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No, claro que es muy importante tener la conexión con Dios, porque yo digo que es lo que te trae humildad y lo que te da la confianza, como estaba platicando estamos platicando todos aquí cuando tenemos momentos duros que a lo mejor pensamos que no vamos a salir, siempre regresamos a esa conexión con Dios, y esa conexión con Dios es lo que te hace fuerte, te da confianza y sabes que está ahí para poderte ayudar a salir del problema, la situación o el estrés o lo que sea que estás pasando. Y es tan simple, pero eso es lo que te va a dar confianza y fuerza para seguir adelante. Y siempre, si te das cuenta y analizas la vida, siempre ha estado ahí. Y nomás es cuestión de regresar y pasar por esos momentos y disfrutar hasta los momentos difíciles y darle hacia para adelante.
Okay,
Bravo.
so tell them a little bit about what you're saying, that about this whole idea of it's a choice, it's a decision. You're going to face challenges, and then break down what you just said to them in Spanish.
Sí, claro que el inicio es identificar el problema, cuál es el problema y regresar también hacia la fuente que es Dios. Y cuando regresas a lo que es la fuente, es lo que te empieza a dar la fuerza y te empieza a restablecer para poder sobrepasar los problemas. Y no significa que salimos de los problemas, ¿verdad? O que los evitamos. Tenemos que darle frente al problema, pero con la confianza de que sabemos que está alguien ahí con nosotros y que te va a ayudar a salir de ese problema, porque esos problemas te están moldeando y te están ayudando a crecer y a ser más fuerte, y para que salgas y que tengas una vida mejor, porque siempre Dios tiene algo mejor para ti después de ese problema.
So he basically broke down, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That no matter how big or complicated the situation, that through God's power and God's strength that we get through things.
You speak Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
You
I
do?
was-
Yes.
you
So-
never spoke Spanish around here before?
So my mother's first language is Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she speaks to me in both, but predominantly in certain moods in Spanish, so I can understand where a sentence is going. Yeah.
So when she's, what's the mood when she...
No,
Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
as a kid, when the certain mood came, it was
She's,
all
yeah.
Spanish.
She's like, cállate, pendejo.
Shut up.
So it's going to be interesting for us to. Do you speak Spanish? You speak. Yes, you do.
See?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's not going to be as hard as I thought for us to make that into a reel.
No.
Yeah.
No, but what he's saying is so powerful, and we're all dialoguing about that same thing. Is that we have come to the conclusion we need God's super on our natural.
Yeah.
But Chad, I love what you said because it's very biblical. It's like what David said: "I killed a lion, I killed a bear, I could take down Goliath." So you said God has not failed me in this much time. That's like David. I killed the lion, I killed the bear, I could take this down too. Same way.
Yep.
He said that, huh?
Yeah, he quoted you.
No, I actually, I went to Christian private school for 8 years, but it was first grade through 8th grade, and I remember all these stories when you tell them to me.
Yeah.
But they're not like on the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
But I do recall that he did kill a lion. No, did he kill the bear and then the lion?
Yes, he says, "I killed a lion and I killed a bear, and I could take down this Goliath."
Oh.
What
Powerful.
do you think about that? Because I know that you know that story too.
I know. Honestly, I couldn't remember it. I was thinking of a different story with wolves or lions.
Yes.
Oh, you were thinking about the one where he got thrown into the lion's den?
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
about that one.
But who was that?
That was Daniel.
Daniel.
With the jacket, with the coat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But after going to 7 years of seminar,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
learned
no,
a few
yeah.
of these
Yeah,
stories.
yeah.
So I really like. I have to tell you though, why does it sound so much more powerful when he says it in
I
Spanish?
know it does.
It
really
does.
It
Spanish
does.
is the language of God, I tell you.
It
Like,
really does
it
sound more.
sounds
yeah.
like. And
Romantico. It's very romantic.
are there like I don't know a lot about Mexico and the culture of Mexico, but are there people doing motivational speaking in Spanish in Mexico?
Yes.
There's a few. Not as big as the United States, but there's a few out there.
Not as big as Natalie's going to become, because Natalie's going to start working on her Spanish, because she's half
doesn't-
Latin.
I've been.
What, you have been?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you got
she's
Rosetta
gonna-
Stone.
She's going to
No,
blow us away.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Drum
He's-
tape.
huh?
Terrible. Terrible.
Natalie's going to take over. You watch
Yeah.
in the Latin market.
No, that'd be great.
Could you imagine her like in Colombia?
Yeah.
Just like 30,000. They're just going crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see it, Jimmy?
I see it 100%.
It's happened before already. It wasn't in Mexico, but it was at Friday night SmackDown.
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think there was 110,000 people.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
50% of them were cheering for her, and the other 50% were booing.
Whoa.
I probably would say
Less than that?
70-30.
For
Boo.
70 were booing?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Because
Great.
her character wasn't
bad guy.
I remember that.
Oh, okay. No wonder she seemed familiar. Nah.
WWE. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Raw. Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh my goodness.
So, Jimmy, you had a death in your family, your grandfather,
Yes.
from substance abuse.
Yes.
How did that impact your life?
I think it was huge. To the day, my grandpa, he was from a village in Guadalajara, Mexico. So his story was that he came to Tijuana, which is the bigger city, and then he came in and he wanted to, be successful. He built a small business. It's like a body shop in Mexico. I remember he even learned. My mom would tell me stories because I met him when I was really, I was like 2 years old. So I don't really remember too much. So he built a business, and then he became successful, right? He became a success within his family. And then he started believing it, right? He started believing the success. He started to drink. He started to, to invite his friends, his coworkers to drink, and party at the shop. And little by little, from all the stories that I hear, is like there's this fun time, my grandma was taken care of, and, there were 7. And little by little, he started to collapse. The business started to fail. The family started to break. And it got to a point where he couldn't come out of it, and he passed, because he was continually drinking. He started drinking every day, and he started to, he fell into the trap of from the stories that I hear from my mom of believing he was successful, and just wanting to please people and get into that. That has definitely impacted me a lot, because whenever there's a dinner or a drink in the beginning too, I felt like some success, like, oh, okay, cool, I can relax, I can have drinks, and and I was pretty careful with what Hollywood or what it sells you, right? The movies sell you that, you know,
Lies.
drinking cocaine and girls and all this stuff, right? And that's what you always want to be doing, you know. So every time I was tempted, you know, I will say like, hey, you know, don't forget what happens. You know, I'm not gonna say I never drank or tried drugs, you know, because I have, you know, but then it's like those things will definitely keep me till the day, honestly. You know, keeps me, you know, just settle and say, don't forget, you lost all success. Everything that has happened, you could lose it. So, you know, that definitely keeps me, you know, disciplined and tight. And it's like, yeah, I definitely don't want to go that route. And he paid the price for that. So, you know, I'm not, you know, and not my legacy will not, you know, pay that if it's up to me, right? So that's definitely has made a huge impact in our lives.
That's amazing in the sense of like you've been able to take kind of that tragedy and make sure that you don't follow the same footsteps, which is really important because, you know.
A wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
Yes. Yes.
So you guys help me with this one. Do you think we get more temptation the bigger we get?
Nah, just kidding.
Tell us.
I mean, everything's. I can just tell you from my own experience. Like, I had success in the early 2000s, all the way to, you know, like with the beginning of Facebook, the creation of Facebook, and I did a few episodes on A&E intervention show when it was really, really big when I was on it. Like one of the biggest shows
Gigantic.
out there
On A&E.
on A&E. I mean, it was all across the world, but America and Canada, everybody tuned into that show.
They did.
And I did the first like 3 seasons, a couple of episodes, and my face was on there. All of a sudden, my friends from my old life started calling me, and I was tempted, and I fell to that temptation. And then I struggled for 5 years to get back here. I didn't lose all my success, but I lost my marriage. I lost my family. I don't regret any of it because I have a beautiful new family and a beautiful new life, and I am a better person because of my fall.
I think that's one reason the power of partnership is so important, of having people in our lives. So Natalie, for you, who helps keep you connected? Obviously your husband is one.
No, for sure. I feel like that is something that is not talked about enough, is that it is essential for you to succeed or fail with who we choose to have as our significant partner. Because I feel, for me in particular, my husband is like my rock. So he has no problem checking me, and when he notices even just like abnormal behavior or the way that I'm moving or whatever, he has no problem to, like, you know, put me in my place and make sure that and usually it's like something as simple as, when was the last time you've gone to a meeting? And obviously my first response wants to be like, what the fuck? But, and usually he's spot on. So I think that's super important, is like who you surround yourself with, is a key element into what and how you're acting or moving, because, you know, whatever that saying is, feathers, what's the one?
Birds of a feather.
Flock together.
Yeah.
There's feathers.
The older I get, the more that I believe that. You know, I heard it when I was younger.
That's what I'm teaching the clients today. So I'm teaching the clients here, and I'm going to teach on birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
The power of partnership.
That's so funny. I wouldn't have got that one. I would not have got. She went with feathers.
She's like an old soul that she even knows that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
am.
Her tia must have told her that story.
Yeah.
That is a Thea is an aunt.
Is
an
an
aunt,
Gosh,
right?
Yeah.
well
Theo
done,
is your
Chad.
uncle.
Yeah.
I know that from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's have some fun, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So the power of partnership, right?
Yeah.
So remember, we went to go eat somewhere.
Yeah.
And we asked them, like, where's the restaurant? And they sent us upstairs instead of downstairs. Tell them what room we walked into.
Yeah, that was a weird situation. We were walking in I forgot the city, Zurich, was it Zurich?
Yeah, in Switzerland.
In
Yeah.
Switzerland, and then we walked into the restaurant, And we're like, okay, it looks nice and everything. And then we're like, oh yeah, go upstairs.
Go
No,
upstairs. You got to go upstairs.
yeah, you got to go upstairs. So in the first floor, there's like a nice restaurant, and we'll go upstairs, and there was like a kind of like a strip club, like a low key strip club.
Wow.
And Tim and I were like, whoa, what is this?
You're
come
like, this
from?
is a nice restaurant.
Yeah,
So we walk in.
yeah.
You walk in, and it's all filled with prostitutes. It was a house of
Oh,
prostitution.
wow.
Yeah.
No wonder Shane liked Switzerland so much.
So we walk in, right?
Yeah.
But tell them how nice I was even to these people.
No.
It's typical me.
And it's like, oh, we're just gonna get something to eat. You know, it's okay. We'll be back or something like that.
Because they're trying to do their job, so they're coming
Yeah.
at you, right? And they see two guys. We were kind of dressed up like this is going to be a
Yeah.
big night for us.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't want to let them down. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
You can have a good life.
Yes. That was funny,
goodness.
and it was like it seemed like a family restaurant in the first floor, right? It was like a little weird, but it was definitely a funny story. Yeah.
And then we found the real restaurant downstairs.
Yeah, no. Then we found the real restaurant and we had a good time. We had some good food.
They just sent you up there because that's where they thought you guys
Yeah.
were wanting to go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but we couldn't speak their language,
Right.
And they didn't speak our language.
And you said restaurant. They were like, they thought
Yeah.
you said hookers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Right. Like, oh yeah, you go upstairs, huh?
But that's all the power of partnership, right?
Yeah.
That's how I started on that thing.
Shane lived in Switzerland for quite some.
Years, yeah, burned.
How long?
Okay.
6 years, yeah.
6
Oh,
years.
wow.
Oh, it's beautiful,
Yeah,
man.
beautiful.
Does that happen sometimes? You just find places like that?
I don't know what city they were in.
I forgot the city. It was right after Zurich, and then I forgot. It's
We were in one of those cities.
close to Italy, to
I was
Milan.
stuck in Bern.
Yeah, that's what I
I was
remember.
stuck in
So you're saying that didn't happen in the city that you were in,
Well, I'm
Shane?
not going to say that, but
Yeah.
that I might have stayed upstairs.
Right.
So we're talking to Jimmy Esparza. And
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're living in what state right now?
I live in Arizona, and I live in Yuma, the sunniest city on earth.
Okay, tell them how doggone hot it could get there sometimes.
It's literally the hottest city on earth, so it's like extremely hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like brutal. I went to ASU. My brother lives in Phoenix, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I can't. It feels like your face is literally on fire.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a challenge. Every year, it's like I question myself, like, wow, how do people do it here? Why am I still living here? But then it's
Let
like,
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Really quick, because you're in Yuma, right? You're
Yeah.
in Yuma, Arizona.
Uh-huh.
Do you have solar?
oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%, yeah, 100%, yeah. No, I wouldn't be able to have a property without solar because it doesn't make sense for me to be paying electricity anymore. It's like I have my own power plant, and I get a tax credit. That's what I need, every time I get a property. Yeah.
Okay, so Jimmy, for all the people that are going to follow you, how do we follow you and find out more about you?
Yeah, they could go to jimmyesparza.com. They could also Google my name. But the platform that I use the most is Instagram. So if those of you guys that have Instagram, make sure you guys DM and follow me on Instagram. But you could also go on the website and Google, so you guys could find a lot of articles and cool stuff there.
Okay, so you know about gadgets and tools and things. Tell us how much you love our studio, please.
No, this is a super cool studio. we got into the studio. Julio and I, our marketing director, came in. It's like, oh, this is super cool. We love the whole atmosphere and all the tools that you guys have.
The vibe.
Makes us look
So
like,
give Chad some credit on having the vision for this place,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
no,
thank you.
yeah, man,
Appreciate it.
love it. All the team, and appreciate the invite.
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh, no, thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations and with all your success and everything that you have going on. It's awesome.
You know, Tim, the only nicer studio that I've actually seen in person is the studio that you were just at. It's at the Wynn Hotel,
Yeah.
but it's like a rental studio. Like anybody can rent that studio out.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
But listen, that is an amazing studio. The one I was just on with
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer. But I love our studio, man. Because in the camera, like how many cameras do we have, Michelangelo?
2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Wow,
Yeah, a ton.
6.
it's like a
I mean, we're coming at you with all these cameras, and then the mics that we have.
he put it on Shane, and it looks like they're not even in our room. It looks like they're
I know,
in a
it looks
different.
like they're totally in a
That's
different.
Joseph there
Look at
and Shane.
Oh, looking good.
But yeah, so no, that was
Amazing.
a cool studio. You're right, in Vegas. But I love ours for what
Yeah.
we got going.
I like
and
the
the
mics.
acoustics. The
Yeah,
acoustics are really
really
great.
good.
Yep.
You know, it even makes my my voice sound good. You know.
Your voice is amazing. You're one step from singing.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there.
No, I feel like
don't.
I'm right there.
I think at
Don't
some
gas
point.
him up, please.
Many men
Whoa!
wish
Here
death
it comes.
upon
Oh
me.
my God.
Here it comes.
Otto.
Oh God.
My God!
Sounded just like 50 Cent.
It was
Yeah.
just right there.
Right there.
Right.
Can we auto tune that?
Yeah.
Right.
So Jimmy,
Got the
Yeah.
we appreciate you.
Yeah.
No,
thank you so
guys.
much.
We're proud of you,
Thank you.
and life continues to get better.
Absolutely. 100%. No, thank you guys for having me here. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. You
Yeah,
know, I'm
thanks
Sure.
for coming.
grateful
Yeah.
for the moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. All right.
Amazing.